Thanks to the support as a channel member, AD Richardson. Second leg against Lazio coming up in today's episode, and here is a solemn vow. We beat them, I'll acknowledge they exist. There's never been a better reason for a club to just roll over and accept defeat. We want to beat them. Hello and welcome to part 18 of my FM21 save with Leicester. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have that Lazio game in the first knockout round, second leg of the Champions League. Plus, we are facing Brentford. Yeah, Brentford in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, we've played a few more games. Very up and down. We beat Everton, but then only drew against Leeds. Narrowly made it past Birmingham in the FA Cup and then lost to Chelsea. We've kind of fallen off the pace a little bit. I guess we still are in the Premier League title race. 5 points behind with 10 games to go. It's definitely doable. But there was also definitely some games there that if we'd have got results against Leeds and Chelsea, we'd be well in that mix. As it is, probably not so much now. We've got a big FA Cup quarter-final coming up against Arsenal. We've still got to play Manchester United in the league, who are one of the teams that are above us that we're chasing. It's Man United and Arsenal, so they're the two big ones that are left. Man United aside, it's a relatively nice run-in, although Everton are currently in fourth place. So that's going to be an important game when it comes to deciding Champions League qualification as well. And of course, hopefully, we'll be adding at the very least a Champions League quarter-final into the mix if things go well against Lazio. And that's where we start things off today. This is the team for the Lazio game. We've got Donnarumma in goal, a back four of Grimaldo, Rice, Felipe and Castagna, and Didi at the base of the midfield, despite me saying Rice was my first choice there in the last episode, because I'm nothing if not consistently inconsistent. And then we've got Tielemans an hour ahead of him, Maddison, Belotti, and Neres, the front three. We're playing all the midfielders today. We've got Rice in at centre-back. We've got Maddison in on the left wing. Why not play 5 central midfielders? We're 1-0 up after the first leg. Let's crowd the middle of the pitch. Let's confuse the opposition into not knowing how we're going to line up. Although, let's face it, they'll have scouted us. They know exactly how we're lining up. And you can tell it's a big game. We've got the fancy animation. Love the fancy animation. It's a beautiful thing. I've just noticed as well, it's got an SITV logo at the bottom, which I hadn't seen before. And I think that's lovely. Lazio playing a flat back 6 in a game they need to win. How very Italian of them. But hopefully it just means they're going to come here and be really, really unambitious. We saw a lot of this in the Europa League run last season, where teams, just the AI in these knockout rounds just don't seem to have any oomph. They don't seem to go for it the way you would expect them to go for it. And hopefully we see it again here from Lazio. I suspect it's something that's fixed. The game's started on the full version of Football Manager, but of course this one was started within 20 minutes of the beta being out. So unless changes are save game compatible, nothing will have changed. And Maddison's just put us 1-0 up. I knew I was right, playing him on the left wing. Genius. Tactical genius. Once again, it's 1-0 on the night. It's 2-0 on aggregate. And look, we've got aggregate scores back as well. That's one of the things that's reappeared since we've ticked over from beta into full game. I've also had another update that's literally just applied as I was starting to record this episode. It's like a 250 meg update. It is Tuesday afternoon at the moment, about 2:30-ish as I'm recording this, and that update's just come out. So whatever that update was or is, I know nothing about it yet, but it is now on the game. And Luis Felipe has just put us 2-0 up on the night. And we're already all but through. The game's barely begun. Maddison playing a very important role. Corner comes over. It's a lovely corner. And Ramos, a 9th goal of the season now for him, showing that an aerial threat at that near post from corners is just as overpowered as it was in FM20. If you get a big lad who's good in the air and put him there, he will score goals for you. Tielemans taking a big risk when he's on a yellow card. After I've already declared we're through to the next round, if we go down to 10 men at this point, maybe it's not quite that so straightforward. Aouar now getting ahead of Maddison. Obviously, he's playing as the Mazzala, so it's not that unusual that he is, but he doesn't do it a lot. But he has slotted it through beautifully for Belotti, who grabs his 28th goal of the season now to put us 3-0 up inside the first 17 minutes of this game. We're now 4-0 up on aggregate, and I am saying now it's absolutely impossible for us to throw away a 4-goal lead against Lazio. It has never happened. It could never happen. We are through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, boys and girls. That is a rock-solid cast-iron guarantee. None of this is going to come back and bite me. Oi, oi, oi. Right, 3-0 up. Corner now. Maddison looking to in-swing at this time. Fine, looking for Ramos again, and very nearly leading to another goal. Cross comes back in again from Maddison. We are a constant threat from these wide areas. Lazio, bearing in mind they are playing that back six effectively, the back five with the holding midfield player. They just don't seem to be able to cope with anything coming from out wide. They're playing very, very narrow, and we're just exploiting it by getting wide of them and just peppering their penalty area of crosses where Belotti's effectively being marked by 4 men and they're not picking up the midfield runners. I'm all for it. I love what's going on. Neres plays it into Maddison, both of them entirely unmarked. I emphasise again, there's 4 defenders back there and they just can't pick up these runs from wide areas, from deep areas. They're keeping an eye on Belotti and he's still scored. This has been terrible from Lazio so far. Castagna now to Tielemans. Back to Castagna again. Tielemans crosses over to Grimaldo, who's, he took his time getting that under control and kind of wasted an opportunity, but it's played it into the path of Belotti, who scores again. And it's 4, and it's 29 for the season for Belotti. And everyone's bowing down and saluting Belotti, and I think that's absolutely fair. Leicester fans probably didn't think they'd get another 30-goal-a-season hero this soon. I was going to say this soon after Vardy, but obviously he's still at the club. Imagine getting that man in while Vardy's still here as an impact sub. Vardy's on double figures for goals for the season, I think, coming off the bench. So he's absolutely not finished, but Belotti's just another level above him. He's, 7-ish years younger than Vardy. And, Leicester fans are going to be getting very excited about how the next 5 years could pan out for them with this team that we've put together here that looks really rather special. Tielemans getting a tackle in midfield again. I think I'm going to have to take him off at half-time. Not because he's having a poor game, but because he seems really up for it. He's already on a yellow card, and he is making a lot of tackles. And Belotti, that is, if you look up pressing forward in the dictionary, that is what you see. That was absolutely superb from Belotti. A team that's already 5-0 up on aggregate. Look how far he runs from here. Just not giving up. Everyone else is just not paying attention, and Belotti using his pace and his determination, and he's just running. He just ran at that, and that is everything I want to see out of a pressing forward. Beautiful stuff from Belotti, and it's now 5 on the night. Loving this. I am loving this. Right. Outstretched arms. You're doing brilliantly, lads. We are going to take Tielemans off just to protect him from any potential red card that might be in his future with all this chasing around that he's doing. We're going to play Sanchez as the Mazzala. Aouar can just drop back into that deep line playmaker role. All these central midfielders squabble over anywhere. They all want to be playing there, apart from Sanchez. Aouar's now got a gashed leg, so we're being recommended Barnes. I'm not actually going to bring Barnes on in the central midfield. What I am going to do is put Barnes on up there and just drop Maddison back into that playmaker role as we rotate the midfield around again. It is a delight having this many real top tier central midfield players who could walk onto, at the very least, could walk onto the bench of any Champions League side. And I think that's what we've built here. We've built around the midfield and just sprinkling a little bit of talent in front and behind them with the likes of Belotti, Felipe, that kind of player. Our defence, I wouldn't say, is world class. Our striker, it probably is at this point, but that central midfield that we've got is, the strength in depth, the quality we've got in there, the entire team was built around it. A lot of it was already here at the start of the save as well. Maddison and Didi and Tielemans obviously already at the club. It's a very nice foundation to build from if you do a save as Leicester this year. But there's your confirmation. We have knocked Lazio out of the Champions League. I do now acknowledge they exist. The joke is complete. We've come full circle. And I've never been outsmarted by Lazio. I'm a genius. Look at all that money you get for winning knockout round games in the Champions League. I feel like I have that reaction in every save when I realise it for the first time, because we've usually spent big to get to this stage of the Champions League. And then when that money starts coming in, you really feel it. Right. Do we know when the draw is? And we've got to play Brentford anyway, so hopefully the draw will be before that Brentford game, although it's not, it's after it. So it's after West Brom as well, actually. So you'll see the draw. Well, you won't see the draw. You'll see who we play in tomorrow's episode. But before then, we need to go and face Brentford and just make sure that we stay in this title hunt. So a couple of changes for the Brentford game. Then a rare start for Ekone, who was so good for us last year. and just hasn't really played this year. So let's get him in, give him a little bit of a game. Sanchez comes in midfield. Rice moves up from centre-back to play behind Sanchez and Tielemans. Soyuncu coming in at centre-back with Castagna and Pereira as the two wide players. So Maddison keeps his spot on the left-hand side of midfield because, let's face it, he was really, really good there in the last match. And after a season and a half of you lot telling me that's where I should be playing him, and me using Origi and using Barnes and rotating Maddison across various different spots, I'm not fully committing to it, but as of right now, I wonder if I've maybe carved out my Maddison-shaped spot in the team. It is a little bit harsh on Harvey Barnes if that's what's happened, because he is, I think, still second top scorer for us this year as he closes in on 20 goals. But as we always say, Barnes always scores off the bench, so it's just a weird thing about him. He very rarely scores early on in games. He seems much more effective coming off the bench and just ruining teams later on. So I'm all for him carrying on and doing that. It's very handy to have a super sub knocking around the place. Soyuncu plays it forward to Castagna, who naturally is going to cut inside because I think he's naturally right-footed. I'm sure he's naturally right-footed. I'm not going to go and check. Let's just assume he is. And Ricardo Pereira dancing around players in the penalty area. That's what we call that big rectangle at that end of the pitch. And the ball was bobbling around in the 6-yard box, which is what I was trying to get to. I was trying to say them both at the same time. Really, somebody should have got on the end of it. We're going to pump the fists again. We're going to tell the boys that really wasn't good enough for the first half. Go do a win. 0.57 XG against Brentford for our first half. We've got to be able to do better than that. And it is Brentford who have the ball in this first highlight of the second half. A long ball forward. They've got absolutely no one forward. It's just coming straight back at them. Ramos playing it through Tielemans and then Akone, and Pereira's on the overlap again. Can he get the crossover this time? I mean, he gets the cross and I can see he's looking for Maddison, but I think he's forgotten there was a goalkeeper in the way that you have to get past first. And Ramos dominant in the air again. I tell you what, he's a defender. Sanchez looking to get a cross in of his own, dancing around the area. We got question of a penalty there. The ref looks like he's going to be going over to the little telly. He's talking on the headset. Are we getting a penalty? It looked like it was quite a soft one if it is, but I am not going to complain if we win a penalty here because we are struggling for a goal today. I said it looked like it would be quite a soft one and we're not getting one. That's a little bit upsetting, actually. Maddison with the corner now. Can he find Ramos? He can! And that's his 10th goal of the season. Luis Felipe. Look how excited he is. Oh, my word. He's dancing like a fight. Everyone's just left him. They were celebrating with him, and then they saw him do his little 5-year-old dance, and they've just run past him. Leave him to it. He's having a little moment. He's having a nice time. Leave him to it. We'll go and celebrate at the corner flag like real men. Fair enough. I don't care how the goals are celebrated as long as we continually score them. 1-0 to us. Maybe an over celebration for taking the lead early in the second half against Brentford, but I'll go with it. Right, we're going to bring Edouard on, and we're going to have a look at Edouard, and we're going to force him to play as a pressing forward. I know it's not his natural role, but if he wants to be in this team, Belotti and Vardy are both pressing forwards. I don't want to change the way we play just to fit Edouard in. So if he's going to get an opportunity, it's going to be playing the kind of role that I want my strikers to play. It's a little bit harsh on him again. I've never really given him the opportunity to play to his strengths. But you know what? Who cares? Belotti's just scored his 31st of the season. Edouard's not even on the pitch yet. Even Edouard would have scored that. That would have been a nice little tap-in for him. But Belotti grabs number 31 to put us 2-0 up. And he must be closing in on that golden boot again. I think it's between him and Aubameyang the last time I looked for the Premier League golden boot, and we just need to squeeze a few more goals out of Belotti. We were robbed of a golden boot last season by Jamie Vardy's hip injury, and I feel like we as a club are probably owed one this time round, and Belotti is obviously the man best equipped to go and get that for us. What a tackle from Soyuncu. Goodness me, that's what you don't get when Declan Rice plays at centre-back. That's why I'm playing him more and more in central midfield, because this combination of Soyuncu and Luis Felipe, and they're different kinds of defender, but they're both really, really good. I was talking before about how we maybe don't have a world-class defence. Them two, plus Pereira, maybe we do. A 17th goal of the season for Harvey Barnes now. As ever, coming off the bench, grabbing a goal. He's not even playing on his usual left-hand side. We've been training him to play on the right. He's been doing it more and more. And he'll just run at defenders. It doesn't matter what side of the pitch he's on. He's just going to run at defenders and test goalkeepers. And he must, if you actually look at goals per minutes played, I think that's a stat the game tracks. He must have the best goals per minutes in the Premier League. We're going to go and have a look after the game to see if that's still a trackable stat in Football Manager. It must be. I'm sure it always used to be in there. But he, considering how little he starts matches and how many goals he scores, the one thing is a lot of them have been in Europe. So I wonder if he might not have as many Premier League goals. But we're going to have a look. He must have the best goals per minute ratio in the Premier League. Ricardo crosses into Edouard, who hits the crossbar. That would have been a perfect end to the episode. Having Edouard start to come good as another option for us up front. That would just, then I'd feel like a Champions League winning team. If we could get 3 real top strikers playing as well as we know they're capable of. Lovely. Really lovely. Right, 3-0, much more like it. Didn't look like happening at half-time, but luckily we sorted our lives out in that second half. Now we're just going to go and check to see if Harvey Barnes has the best goals per game in the Premier League. Not goals per game, goals per minute. So yeah, it is Aubameyang and Belotti. So if we go minute, can we sort by minutes per goal? Because it's tracking it. So we should be able to sort for it. So if we go to goals. We can't sort for it. Is it in here somewhere? It doesn't look like it is. That's annoying. The stat's right there. Show me it. Where is Harvey Barnes? He's not on there. That's annoying. Let me know down in the comments if there is a way to find that and I've just not noticed it. I would like to know because I struggle to believe that anyone scores more goals per minute than Harvey Barnes does. Right. Next episode is obviously going to be the Champions League quarterfinal. And we'll probably just do the second leg so we don't drag. Similar to how we did last year. Just the second legs from here on in. Listen to him talking as if we're going to win the Champions League. But second leg of the Champions League and probably that Everton game because that's a big game in the league. We beat Everton at the very least. I think we can comfortably say we're in the Champions League. Why did I think Everton were 4th? When that is Liverpool and they, I believe, are 2 different clubs. No idea. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.